G'day everyone and welcome to Singletree Dairies, located in the heart of mid-Canterbury all the way down in New Zealand. My name is Aaron Shaskey and I manage this farm alongside our awesome team of 14 people who work hard every day to keep this farm running smoothly.
G'day, I'm Will Grayling. So my wife and I equity partners in Ashbury here. So equity partners with Jim and Sue Vanderpoel. So we milk 2,500 cows on this farm with Aaron, and on the other farm we have about 960 cows with Ricky and his team over there. So yeah, enough to keep us busy for a day.
So the farm itself is just under 600 hectares and we milk 2,500 Kiwi crossbreed cows. How it works here, it's a very large scale farm, so we split the farm into 4 different blocks operating 4 main herds. Each herd is split based on age, production and also body condition score later on in the season. Every herd has its own herd manager. That herd manager is responsible for grazing records, grazing plan, setting up fences, etc. Also managing animal health within the herd. So being November here in New Zealand, our main challenge at the moment is trying to maintain that pasture quality. So we're starting to deal with a wee bit of this seed head stage in the pasture. Our ultimate goal here is to always offer our cows high quality feed. So how we monitor this, we do a pasture walk over the entire farm using a SeedX pasture meter. This is a tow behind machine that gets hooked up to the back of the quad bike, and we do this twice each week. So our main strategy for dealing with the seed head stage is trying to make sure that we're not letting those pre-grazing covers getting too high. At the moment we're targeting pre-graze covers of around about that 3,000 to 3,100 kgs of dry matter per hectare, and usually this is about right for us, grazing right down to that 1,550 to 1,600 kgs of dry matter per hectare residual. So we have identified a few surpluses over the last couple of weeks. What we do in this situation is we get our local contractor Quigley's in to make either baleage or silage in the stack. So to date this season we have only cut about 12 hectares of grass, and this was put into bales last week.
G'day guys, I'm Harry Finch. I'm one of the herd managers here at Singletree Dairies. So me, myself and Johnny Boy here, as well as a couple others, sort of look after this herd behind us. So this is our 4th herd. They occupy about 131 hectares, along with a once a day mob that floats between numbers of sort of 150 to 180 and penicillin mob, which is down to about 10 at the moment. So at the moment, yeah, we're sort of opened the gills right up, say about 7 weeks ago. So intake's been up to about 18 kilos of grass since then. They've been floating at about a 21-day round length sort of for the past sort of month, just shy of a month. Grass quality's been good up until about a week ago really. We're pretty aggressive with our grazing management early on in the season, which just ensured better quality, although it sort of had us at a knife's edge. We had to bring in a wee bit of supplement at times when the rain came in, but that's the price you pay with trying to chase grass quality. So
we are currently sending well over 50,000 litres of milk every day to Fonterra. I've got a tanker behind me that is picking up for the day. So that's 2 tankers that come every day here to Singletree. Cows are producing around about that 2 milk solids a cow at the moment. We hit peak a couple of weeks back, just over 2.2 milk solids a cow, and we're currently on target this season to do around 2,000 milk solids per hectare, which works out at about just under 500 solids per cow, hopefully, all going well. So all 2,500 cows are milked through an 80 bale rotary shed here, and so how it works is we do split shift milkings. So 2 people are milking at one time for the first shift, and then we have a second crew that come in for the second shift. Milking times at the moment in the morning are around about 5 hours, cupping on at 3:45 in the morning and being finished about 9 o'clock in the morning. And in the afternoon, cupping on at 1:45 in the afternoon, and then usually the guys are home by just after 5 o'clock. We have full automation in the shed, so automatic drafting, and then also automatic cut removers, along with in-shed feeding, which can feed grain and then also palm kernel. We also have all flex monitoring collars on every single cow here. So we use the collars to monitor heat detection, and then also cow rumination. Guys, so we are just over 5 weeks into mating season here at Single Tree. So this is a typical day here. We've got Christian here, AB assist, and we've got Vicky that is currently doing our AB on farm. So things are currently going really well. We hit just over 93% submission rate for the first 3 weeks. So what that means is 93% of our cows have been put up for AI in the first 3 weeks of mating. We started mating on the 20th of October, and we will do roughly about 10 weeks of AI right through until the start of January. Being Canterbury in New Zealand, we rely on irrigation here. So we are fully irrigated on this farm. We run 6 large valley centre pivots, 5 large Rotarainer irrigators, and then also have a handful of sprinklers to water the corners of the farm. Most of our irrigation water comes from deep well systems, well over the 100 metres down, and we also have a small allocation that comes from the local BCI irrigation scheme. I'm just out here in our fodder beet crop. So we have 6 hectares of fodder beet that was planted just over 4 weeks ago here on the platform. We use this fodder beet to milk off at the end of April. And we also will use this crop to transition our replacement heifers early. So the idea is to use this as feed for some of our lighter cows at that point in the season to help them transition early, so that once they hit their winter crops off farm, they're well and truly transition and they are starting to pack the weight on, ready for calving season.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Luke Mooney. I'm from Tipperary in Ireland, and I'm here for 6 months, just here to learn and pick up a few things. We're here in herd 3, which is the herd I looked after with John. They're the older cows, so they're the best at eating grass, high producing. I look after this herd with John, so we help each other out. It's 154 hectares, and we're currently on about 20-day rotation. Yeah, so there's around 580 cows in here at the moment, and they're usually eating 17 kilos a day in the paddock, and then they get a kilo or 2 in the shed.
Hi guys, I'm Neil. I'm managing herd 2 black at the moment, and I'm working with Jonah. And now it's on November, and we're still on a 20-day round, and the grass is looking good.
Hi, my name is John O'Brien. I'm from Kilkenny in Ireland. I'm studying dairy business in University College Dublin. Here in my 20th week of my 20 weeks placement here on Single Tree Dairies. Loved every minute of it. Great opportunity. If anyone's thinking of coming out, just go for it. You won't regret it. I suppose one of the big differences I found out here is just the Kiwis here in Canterbury, they prefer have a bit of a deficit in grass rather than surplus grass. Just because it's cheaper to feed a bit of supplement in a deficit rather than taking out silage in a surplus. Compared to at home, we prefer to have a bit of surplus grass during the summer, so we have it as winter feed, whereas cows are outside 365 days of the year here, so they're not as reliant on winter feed as we are. Then another thing here on Single Tree, I suppose, they put a big emphasis on is hitting good residuals in the paddock and making sure cows are very content coming out, and just everything else seems to fall into place after that, albeit milk production, breeding, and even just cow flow around the parlour. It makes a big difference.
Right guys, so that is the update for November from us here at Single Tree. If you like to stay updated with what's going on farm, give us a follow on YouTube, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Good morning everyone, and welcome back. We have an absolute ripper of a morning this morning. Check that out. A little bit cold, but that is a beautiful spring early summer morning. There'll be a bit of heat later on. However, what has been happening over the last month, artificial insemination is done all over. Did 4 weeks of that, and now it is time for the bully boys to go out. Come on matey, your turn with the girls. I won't know until about February when I pregnancy scan them how mating has gone, but at the moment it feels like it is going all right. I only put 1 bull out with each herd a day, so they get 24 hours and then they get 24 hours in the paddock there to rest, saves them going lame, keeps them fresh. And I'm just about to draft this fella out. I'll be a little bit careful. on, matey. Look at that, well trained. Mating essentially is the most important time of the year for me because I don't milk through the winter. We have a dry period. We need to make sure we can get as many cows in calf as possible because that means we can cull a little bit harder and have a lower replacement rate, but it also gives us more early milk production. There's actually not too many girls coming on heat at the moment, which is a good thing. We have had a lot of rain recently, which has made a lot of our grass go to seed and get really stalky like this. So I have been running around with the mower, cutting it all, or topping as we say. Makes it a little bit easier for the cows to eat, and also next time they come in here the quality will be much better. I've also had a few paddocks that got away on me. They've just been growing too fast, so I've taken them out for silage. I'm going to make them into bales. The mowers turned up this morning. I would get contractors in for this because it would just take me too long and I don't have the time at the moment to sit there and mow my own. So the contractor's actually next door, which is pretty handy, and they've got big gear which can handle it pretty quickly. Last month I'd taken all my silage off my maize paddocks, or the paddocks that were going into maize, which got drilled there soon after, and they got direct drilled, so that means strictly no cultivation. There was a strip sprayed and then you can see the drilling straight in there, and it did a pretty good job. Very happy with it. And here it is now, so it's actually looking pretty good. I have had a little bit of trouble with cutworm, which will be why this plant here is dead. They just cut it off at the base like that. There it is right there actually. That's the big hoa. It seems to be pretty widespread this year. On a whole, I've got off fairly lightly, but I am through the worst of it now. The biggest problem I have had is pheasants, and pheasants have absolutely decimated a couple of my paddocks, which are over there. Unfortunately, they're a protected game bird here at the moment. A few bales here, so that is feed in the bank, and it really all depends on how our weather goes going forward now, how much rain we get, when I'm going to feed this out. Hopefully we don't get dry for too long in our summer and I don't have to feed much of this out, and I can save a little bit for winter. That's also the same with making more bales or more supplement going forward. It really depends on how much rain we get and if I have extra feed to be able to make it. Once AI is finished though, it's rather nice, because once the bulls go up, that means we can start going on holiday. I've been on holiday, Dad's been away for a week, and we can sort of start to get into a bit of cruise mode through summer, which is really nice. Things start to slow down. So apart from that, see you next month.
G'day, welcome to Dixie Park in Southwest Victoria, Australia. My name's Matt Glennon. My wife Lucy's behind the camera, and this is our daughter Matilda. We milk 750 cows here, approximately on 300 hectares of milking platform, and we have around 350 hectares within 10 minutes of the home place as support country, where we grow all our silage, hay, and raise all our young stock and beef. We're a predominantly grass-based system, growing grass from April through till about now. Very rainfall dominant, winter dominant rain, and virtually nothing over summer. So we'll go from growth rates in order of 40, 50 kilos back to 20 or 30 in winter, and then back up to 80 or 100 over the spring months. So to do our milking, we're in a 55 unit, one person dairy. Our 2IC Mary's on the cups this morning. So yeah, fully automated. We have our computer ID and drafting, which is set up with all flex collars as well. This dairy's about 18-year-old, and yeah, hasn't really caused us any any issues except for you know, your general wear and tear. We've upgraded our cut removers a couple of years ago, and our jetters, etc., as they've worn out. But yeah, we milk probably at peak, it's around that 270 odd cows an hour, and now that we're sort of getting towards the end of lactation, we're up to around that 300 cows per hour with one person. So yeah, works really well for us. We're all about efficiency. So yeah, it works really well. And with our automatic tea sprayer, and then cows exit.
So here at Dixie Park, we breed all our own replacements. We generally rear about 300 calves, and then anything that's surplus we either on-sell, taking advantage of the live export trade while we've got it, although we're aware that that's probably not a long-term solution for the farm. So part of our strategy here is to explore alternative options for our surplus animals. So we do strategically join a lot of our cows that we're not interested in genetics, or they're later in the season, beef on dairy straws in them, and rear up to about 100 of those animals. And then the rest we send off farm to contract rear, or we've got some other local growers that will purchase animals off us. So that's, I guess, part of our long-term sustainability plan.
So being the end of spring sees the end of grass silage harvest for us, and for most of Victoria. Exceptional years will go into summer, but generally spring's our main harvest season. So we've completed these 3 pits plus this stack this season, which is roughly about 1,200 dry tonne in these 3, plus the stack. We have taken on more land this year, another 150 hectares that went into this big stack back here. So that's certainly helped our stocks. But we've also completed a fair few silage bales as well. We've done about 200 here at home, and at our paddock where all the young stock are is about 600 or 700 over there. So with all that, we've probably done close to 1,500 dry tonne of silage. So yeah, certainly a very good harvest for us, and hopefully that should see us through, and hopefully have some carryover when we finish feeding sort of late next winter, and yeah, hopefully have some carryover next spring. It's probably a case, especially here in Australia, to make sure that we do have carryover stocks, because the seasons are so variable and not consistent. So, you know, 2 years ago it was bloody wet, and no one could get on paddocks, and we only got one pit of silage. It was that wet, and we had poor growth rates. So. And it also could be the other stream where it just doesn't rain from, you know, September onwards, and you end up getting a very poor harvest. So we've still got hay to do. Hay's a pretty large portion of our dry cow and springer diet and young stock diet. So a lot of that will be second cut grass that will be made into hay. So yeah, can't complain too much at all. As with all machines, it's maintenance, so Mary's just going along and cleaning a couple of nozzles that were a bit dirty. And I'm replacing this hose that we somehow lost. Always have a few spare parts on hand just to make sure that we've got it. But yeah, we're currently on our second lap of the season, and these paddocks here are into summer crop of turnips, and that one over there is into a summer crop of forage rape, and then the rest is all permanent grass. So far up to 50 mil for the season. So just in corn paddock here, we've got 15 hectares in at Narrogid at one of our other blocks. It's going really well so far, as you can see, really well, good lines, nice establishment. It was planted about 3 weeks ago, and so far hasn't been irrigated, just waiting on a new pump to be able to do that. But we're getting sort of some, you know, mid 20 to mid 30 degree temperatures now. There's some rain forecasts this coming weekend as well, so hopefully that'll keep going, but there's still moisture in the ground. But yeah, certainly could do with a drink, but certainly so far going pretty well. So it's a 101 CRM variety, so called Maximus from HSR Seeds. It's a bit of a longer variety, but over here it's really good dirt, lighter dirt, and also we're not under the pressure to get it back into grass as quick as what we would be on the home farm where we're milking. So if it stays another, if it takes another 2 weeks to grow, but we yield that extra tonne, obviously that'll bring our cost back per hectare, which obviously brings our cost back per tonne. So that's the whole idea. More tonnes on less hectares to get cheaper feed. But yeah, corn's a pretty integral part to our ration in winter. We'll feed about 3 or 4 kilos a day, and it'll last about 90 days. Mix that with our grass silage, and then which is really good for our fresh cows when they're at peak. So yeah.
So we've been organic for 24 years, and it's something we're very passionate about. We sell our milk to Cal & Wen, which is a Welsh cooperative set up in the early 2000s. Being organic, you've got a few less tools in your tool belt to increase yields and suppress weeds. However, I think with the right management, we should be able to get close to conventional outputs.
This year on the grazing platform, we managed to grow 10.2 tonnes of dry matter to the hectare. This is down on 1 tonne on previous years, and we're putting this down to the shorter grazing season. Average farm cover is sitting around 2,450, which is a little bit higher than we'd want it, but as the cows were housed from the 14th of October, and the fact that we had 25 kilos of growth throughout November, we're just going to have to hope for a dry spring, as there's not much we can do about it now. We managed to get the heifers back out just a little over a week, as we had 2 paddocks that were dry enough to graze. In hindsight, we could have maybe used this to send the springers out as well, but as they were settled on their winter diet, we decided against it. As you can see from behind me, the heifers are now at the heiferoon unit, where they'll stay until the middle of January, where we'll run them back on the road before calving and replace them with dry cows. We put all the first lactation heifers onto once a day. The reason we do this is so they gain a bit of body condition and fill out their frames before the second lactation. The rest of the springer's body condition is just where we want it to be, and we'll dry 140 off by the 15th of December. All the springers have had their yearly pedicure. John and Joe came in with 2 crushes and got all 265 done in 1 day. The diet at the minute consists of just 4th cut silage and 1 kg of combi crop. We don't tend to feed heavy in late lactation, as we save the concentrates for the higher producing autumns. We've started pre-mating checks for the autumns, averaging 14 cows a day. We're well on track to meet the industry targets of 90% submission in the first 3 weeks. The body condition is a little bit higher than we'd like, but we're not too worried, as they'll lose a bit of weight when they go out to grass in the spring. I've made a few alterations to the diet, as the 4th cut silage has got better quality as we continued feeding, so I pulled the concentrates down by 3/4 of a kilo and replaced that with 2 kg of silage. There's been no change to milk, as the autumns are still producing 25 litres a day.
Silage-wise this year, we've got enough first cut to last us until early April. Depending on the weather in January and February, we might need to add a bit of 3rd or 4th cut to try and stretch this out. One issue we do have on our farm is we have one massive pit. This makes a bit of an issue in terms of we fit 2nd, 3rd and 4th cut in this pit, and we only have access to the 4th cut at the moment. In an ideal world, we'd be able to have 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th in separate pits to reduce variability and drive performance. One way we're going to try and combat this issue is we haven't actually put any hybrid rye in this back end. This will free up this silage pit, so we should have access to another cut. It'll also reduce our workload at the back end and ultimately simplify the system. So we've recently just put in the new feed barriers. This is to transition the calves onto the autumn TMR, which they need to be on full time by 4 months old. We also went to London on the 19th with 40,000 other farmers to protest Labour's agricultural budget. It was really great to see farmers from all over the country coming together to make a stand in a peaceful and respectful manner.
Hi, I'm Joe O'Neill, the Gaff Farmer on social media.
Hello, I'm Joe's wife, Ellen, being the farm wife on social media. Our farm is O'Neill Dairy Farm.
We're farming here in Wicklow in the east coast of Ireland. It's November now, it's extremely windy as you can probably see. We farm here with our family, our young family. We've 4 kids, 2 boys and 2 girls. We're milking Jersey cross cows in a spring-based system. We've 140 cows at the moment and we rear young stock.
We inherited the farm from Joe's parents. We took over in 2011 and we changed systems from Friesian Holstein based herd to a Jersey cross system. Last year was the first year they've got an automatic feeder. That was a massive change. We built our new milking parlour in 2019, which is 5 years ago, it was over a 15-year loan. That was an expansion from an 8-unit parlour to a 20-unit parlour, both Pearson's parlours. Now we're going on to the next phase of expansion, in that we've tripled or quadrupled the size of our herd since we took over the farm in 2011, and now it's time to quadruple or triple the size of our sheds, basically. So that's the phase of expansion we're at the moment.
So we're a spring-based system. We try and grow as much grass as we can. Cows calve the grass in February from about the 4th or 5th of February, and they stay out until as late into the autumn, October, November as they can, totally weather dependent.
Dry farm, we're quite sandy based, so we're lucky we can get out earlier than a lot of farms and stay out for longer usually.
So all stock is currently housed at the moment. We have 3 beef animals still out. We've 1 suckler cow and our calf, and then a Wagyu bullock who's for the freezer next year. They're the only stock that's out at the moment. So everything is fully housed. We've a third of the herd dry. We've dried off first lactation cows, under condition score cows, and high cell count cows all there in the last 3 weeks. So there's 80 cows milking at the moment. We went once a day milking last Wednesday, and cows are currently doing about 12 and a half litres on just over 10% solids on the once a day system, getting 3 kilos of meal a day, and ad lib silage. We're currently feeding first cut silage from last year, which is extremely high dry matter. We'll be going on to this year's first cut silage Monday or Tuesday of next week. Our genetics base, our background is we have used a lot of New Zealand crossbred sires and purebred Jersey sires when we changed over from all year round milk or liquid milk production to spring milk. We are currently using more Irish genetics at the moment now. The breeding quality and the milk solid production and all the Irish dairy sires has caught up on New Zealand in the last couple of years, so we're back using them.
We don't cut silage ourselves or spread slurry ourselves. We have a contractor that comes in and does that. We've no relief milkers outside of Joe is the main man on the farm, and myself and our almost 16-year-old son provide any relief work and seasonal labour along with our other 3 children.
Yeah, so as we said, we're a family-based farm. We try and farm to live, but sometimes it's like we're living to farm. Seasonal, very heavily involved in our local community through sports and through the schools. It's a fantastic way of life we have here in Wicklow and in Ireland. We are very much a traditional family-based farm, very much a traditional spring-based calving system now. It's unusual in the area where we farm to have a spring calving system. It's very much a liquid milk area. Because we're so close to Dublin, it would have been supplying milk to Dublin back years ago. In our discussion group, for example, there's only 4 spring calving herds. The rest of everyone else is all year round calving. Yeah, so on this time of the year, we give the land the winter to rest now. So we have been closing up our grazing paddocks from the first week in October. It was a particularly good back end in Ireland, and here where we farm, as in there was a lot of grass growth. It was particularly dry. The weather was extremely mild.
After a very, very wet spring.
Yeah, and after a cold summer, we didn't change from our standard procedure. So we closed up as normal. The land is resting now. Covers will build a little bit over the winter. We'll be back grazing in February. Hopefully the weather will play ball. And as I said, cows will go to grass as soon as they calve. Try and grow as much grass as we can, feed all grass. We make silage in the summer like everyone else, and then we fill the gaps with concentrates. Simple, straightforward system.
Myself and Joe married in 2009 and we started having kids. I moved down from Dublin. Joe grew up on this dairy farm. He got a degree in England in agriculture, was a Teagasc advisor, and then came home to take over the farm, and we both got stuck in. So I'm currently doing my green cert to get on the herd number. We formed a company this year. So we set up a YouTube channel in February just to showcase spring calving with our kids out on the farm, and it got a lot of traction. So we've continued on with the channel. So we've a new video out every Saturday at 3 o'clock. If you want to come and follow our journey. Particularly interesting now because we just got planning permission and loan approval to build a new calf shed, and a slatted cubicle shed for how many cubicles?
100 cubicles. So.
Yeah. So we're starting the building on those sheds in the very near future. So come along for the journey. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you again.
Alright, drive it on.
So, what's happening on the farm at the minute? So as you've seen there, Dad was just dye feeding this side of the shed. We're running out of third cut, so we're going to go on to fourth cut at the minute, and we're opening up the maize today as well. So hopefully, I did get the results back from test maize. Yeah, just a nice crop, nothing special. Our fourth was very good. Came in at 14.5% protein, and that was cut 3rd of October. So cows are doing 26 litres at the minute. Dropped a little bit from last time, but look, you had to expect that. Like, we're drying off cows as well, and we're trickling with the calving. Milking's taking a bit long, but we're kind of getting, it's that time of year that dark evenings, you don't really want to be stuck in a pit. You want to be up cozy in the house. So I'll actually show you the parlour, because we're doing a small little upgrade now. It's only very small. We're changing the filter. So we run on the old diaphragm pumps. If anyone remembers them, they're like, as I describe, a lung. So, and milk goes into the tank. So it's two flat plates pumping against each other like a lung, and that's what brings the milk up. But because there's a lot of rows going through at the minute, it's starting to they block the filter. Just there's a lot of wear and tear, and we want to try and save that pump because it's a good pump. Like, so we're just changing the filter. And going forward, a lot of people ask me what am I going to do. So I don't know. You probably think I'm mad or something. A lot of the Irish ones, the international ones, that probably see this as normal, is thinking of 3 times a day milking, or robots. So either milk 3 times a day in a big parlour or go down the robot route. But I don't know, it's hard to know. So yeah, so you're going to come and do a few jobs with me. We're going to start bedding calves, and then I'll show you the parlour. The parlour, it's a small jar plant parlour. Don't mind the mess there. I was actually just drying off cows there to clean that down after them. So this is the parlour. It's a small 10 unit jar plant. Servo switches here, so we can hold the milk in the jars or let them go. Look, it's a very basic parlour, but it gets the job done. So we're just changing over the filter from that. This was the old filter. Just about calves. They are still on milk powder. We feed Mazzolini M60 milk powder. For anyone that has never heard of Mazzolini, Mazzolini is an Italian nutrition crowd. We buy all our milk powder off them. We buy kind of supplements for the calves, and we swear by this. This stuff is a probiotic. It's all in Italian, so if you can read Italian, there you go. Basically, it's to help the gut work a lot quicker. Just with the walls as well, if no one has ever seen them, the walls done like that, it's a lime and a bluestone mix. It just helps disinfect the shed, really, that nothing will live on the walls, and you try and get it in all the crevices. Like, I missed that bit. And we actually put wood chip, so this is our own wood chip. We bought it's that old ash trees that we had laying around, and because the new law, we can't burn. There's a local man that has a wood chipper, so we chip it in the field, and we got a bit of timber off it now. It's really good stuff. Like,
I can't wait for the weekend. Gonna dive off the deep end. No, I don't need a reason, lose control. Pour me a glass, I toss it back, forget responsibility. It's hard to be 23 and don't know what's in front of me. Sleep is for the dead, now I'm looking for comfort. Rather be a wreck than just be another person spinning their wheels. Will do anything to feel like I'm not growing up.
units as well, the calves are on 3 litres a day from about probably 4 days old. You try and get them on the 3 litres, and they stay on 3 litres then. And then they're on whole milk when they're in the crates, and then they go on the milk powder when they're in here. And our big poultry unit, our one chicken that terrorizes. She'll make a mess of the shed. I don't know, does anyone else have that? Look. I think that's really it happening on our farm at the minute. As I said, everything's kind of quiet. That's what we call tickety-boo. So yeah, tune back next time. I'm sure there'll be more interesting stuff happening on the farm. Next will be probably Christmas time. So Christmas time for us is kind of, we still calve away. We'd probably have more cows calving, to be honest, during that time. So yeah. So for me and all the calves and the cows, good luck.